Have you ever wondered why the pursuit of pleasure can sometimes lead to a profound sense of loneliness? In our modern society, we're often encouraged to chase after our every desire, to seek out what makes us happy, and to indulge in the pleasures of life. Yet, this relentless pursuit can sometimes leave us feeling isolated and disconnected. This is what we call the paradox of pleasure, a curious phenomenon where our quest for joy and satisfaction can unexpectedly lead to feelings of solitude. In the race to experience more, to feel more, we might inadvertently distance ourselves from the very connections that foster a sense of belonging. Consider the irony of this situation. We're in a world that celebrates the pursuit of pleasure, yet this very pursuit could be the thing that leaves us feeling alone. It's a paradox that challenges our understanding of happiness and fulfillment. As counterintuitive as it might seem, the pursuit of pleasure can sometimes leave us feeling more alone than ever. To understand this paradox, we need to delve into the science behind pleasure and loneliness. You see, our brains are wired to seek out pleasurable experiences. This is primarily due to a neurotransmitter known as dopamine. Dopamine is often dubbed the feel-good hormone because it plays a crucial role in how we experience pleasure. However, the relationship between dopamine and pleasure isn't as straightforward as it might seem. Dopamine does more than just make us feel good. When overstimulated, say by constantly seeking pleasurable experiences, it can also trigger feelings of loneliness. This may seem counterintuitive, right? But let's consider one of our modern-day pleasure-seeking behaviors: excessive use of social media. We log on, scroll, like, share, and comment, all in a bid to feel connected and derive pleasure. Yet, various studies have shown a correlation between heavy social media use and feelings of loneliness. The same can be said about materialistic pursuits. The thrill of buying a new gadget, the latest fashion, or the flashiest car can give us a dopamine hit. But once that initial pleasure wears off, we're often left feeling empty and isolated, always chasing the next high. So, the pursuit of pleasure, while seemingly fulfilling, can inadvertently result in feelings of loneliness and isolation. It's a fascinating and complex relationship that we're just beginning to understand. The question then arises, how do we strike a balance? This is a question that many of us grapple with. The pursuit of pleasure is not inherently negative. It's when it becomes an obsession, to the exclusion of all else, that it can lead to isolation and loneliness. Striking a balance between seeking pleasure and avoiding loneliness involves a few key elements. First, meaningful connections. These are the relationships that provide us with a sense of belonging, of being understood, and of being valued. They're the people with whom we share our lives, our joys, our sorrows, and our dreams. These connections serve as a buffer against loneliness, providing us with a sense of community and shared experience. Second, self-awareness. This involves understanding our own needs, desires, and emotions. It means being able to recognize when our pursuit of pleasure is tipping into excess and making the necessary adjustments to bring ourselves back into balance. Finally, moderation. This is about knowing when to say enough, when to step back from the pursuit of pleasure and focus on other aspects of life. It's about recognizing that while pleasure can bring happiness, it isn't the only source of fulfillment. Finding fulfillment in non-materialistic pursuits, like spending time in nature, exploring our creativity, or helping others, can also contribute to a balanced life. It's these experiences and the relationships we form through them that can help us avoid the isolating cycle of loneliness. Ultimately, the key to avoiding loneliness in the pursuit of pleasure lies in balance, self-awareness, and meaningful connections.